Higher gas prices hitting hard. It appears what's going up isn't coming down anytime soon as the Iran conflict continues without resolve. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. The cost of fuel is becoming more of a financial strain for Canadians, and economists are warning of the trickle-down effect that will go well beyond pumping gas into your personal vehicles. CTV's Austin Lee joins us with more on the services that are likely to see the most immediate impact. Austin.
Well, Stefan, just moments ago, we actually heard from U.S. President Donald Trump. He joined NBC and said the war in Iran is, quote, very complete, pretty much. Those comments sending the price of oil down. It's now hovering around $80, $90 a barrel, somewhere in that area, a sharp correction from its peak of nearly $120 just last night. For now, however, price at the pump remains high, and that is having a real impact on taxi drivers in the city who say gas usually eats up about 14 to 15% of their fares, but now it's taking closer to 20 to 25%. The average price of fuel across the city has surged in the capital by more than 20 cents in the past week.
We cannot increase our price, based on that. Other stores, maybe they can jack up their price, but we are controlled by the city. And we cannot jack up our price. Even if the gas price goes to $2, we still charge the same amount. So this is unbearable.
We pay more now and make less because of the gas prices. It's impacting us a lot.
From the streets to the sky, fuel prices are expected to have a real impact on people's budgets. One travel expert I spoke with says that anyone planning a trip this summer should consider buying their flights sooner than later, as airlines are likely going to jack up the price of those tickets. Economists also say that shoppers can expect some inflation at the grocery store, with transportation goods costing more than it was just last week. The oil price increase over the last 10 days representing a 1% increase in Canada's headline inflation numbers. Stefan.
All right, everyone watching the markets very closely. CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us. Thank you, Austin. Turning to the latest developments out of Iran, today the country is announcing a new supreme leader. Iranians gathered in Tehran in a show of support for the country's new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei. He is the son of the country's former supreme leader. The 56-year-old hardliner was named by the country's assembly of experts to succeed his father, who was killed in an airstrike on the first day of the war. Meanwhile, air sirens were sounding in several Israeli cities overnight as Iran launched missiles, killing at least one person in that latest attack. Here in Canada, politicians are also grappling with what to do about the war on the economy. The federal government acknowledging tariffs and trade as changing the global landscape, and now pledging close to $95 million to help industries and workers navigate financial uncertainty. But what does that mean exactly? CTV's Josh Morano joins us live to explain. Josh.
Yes, Stefan, the funding will go towards projects collecting labor market information. That's data that helps industries understand where workers are needed and what skills are in demand. The announcement made today by MP Patty Hajdu in Orleans, a $95 million investment over 5 years to help organizations track labor shortage and hiring needs across the country. 14 groups will use the funding to study workforce trends in industries like that have been hit hard by tariffs. And the goal is to give employers, educators, and governments better information so they can train workers and plan for jobs that are in demand.
We're expecting in the tens of thousands of deficit of workers in biotechnology industry by the year 2029. And this kind of information will allow us to know in which subsectors, which regions, and which specific skills are going to be most keenly in deficit.
We need good workers in our new build super factories to be able to supercharge the home building industry and get these jobs and these modules out to people who need them.
In Eastern Ontario, projects like Oakwood's proposed new build housing facility could bring hundreds of jobs as the push to build more affordable homes continues. And the federal government says each organization will receive a certain amount of the $94.5 million based on their needs in their application. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Josh Morano breaking this down for us. Thank you, Josh. Well, starting today, more than 60 students who have typically had to walk to school because of their proximity to it are now eligible to take the bus instead. It comes amid rising safety concerns in areas including downtown and lower town. CTV's Katie Griffin is here. And Katie, those concerns have prompted the Ottawa Student Transportation Authority to act.
Well, really, they've designated so-called community hazard zones, and 5 schools are impacted. It means 60 students can now hop on the bus to school instead of walking. The schools are Cambridge Street Community Public School, Devonshire Community Public School, St. Anthony, along with Viscount Alexander and York Street Public Schools. OSTA says there's been an increase in safety concerns regarding complex social and environmental conditions along specific routes, many passing by places like addiction treatment centers and shelters. Here's what some parents had to say.
Rampant drug use everywhere, needles everywhere, like I was telling you before. We typically do an Earth Day thing where we clean up our block. And sadly this year, we don't think the kids will be safe doing it because we don't know how many needles, how many pipes, how much drug paraphernalia is hidden underneath the snow and everything.
I'm going to keep walking with my kids and instructing them on sort of what a safer route is, generally by avoiding Somerset. But I definitely agree with the decision to offer the bus service to people.
Somerset Councillor Ariel Troster calls this a Band-Aid solution. Now, OSTA says of the 60 kids eligible to be bused as of today, 40 are doing so. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin reporting live for us. Thank you, Katie.
Welcome.
As the proposed high-speed rail line moving through Ontario and Quebec forges ahead, the mayors of Kingston and South Frontenac say the government is overlooking a major route, the 401. The mayors came together in a joint news conference today calling for the Alto high-speed rail line to move along the 401 and create a stop in Kingston. Currently, neither are being considered for the line that will link Toronto and Quebec City. One of the 2 currently proposed routes would have the rail link move through South Frontenac, but the mayors say it should follow the highway to avoid devastating farming communities.
What this joint advocacy position will do is it will protect vital rural landscapes. It will align with existing transportation corridors, both for rail and for the 401.
In a statement, Alto says it is following the route set forth by the federal government. And while they will try to follow existing corridors, high-speed tracks need to be in a straight line. A union representing workers at Bruyère Health is pushing back against dozens of planned job cuts to frontline staff. The Canadian Union of Public Employees says the health organization is laying off 55 workers, including 46 personal support workers and 9 nurses. In a statement, Bruyère says the changes will align its staffing with similar healthcare organizations. The union says they are already understaffed and struggling to provide quality care.
Things weren't great pre-pandemic. We were already stretched then. So this call to go back to a better time, that somehow there can be an addition of care by a subtraction of staff, I don't see how it's going to happen.
Where we're losing probably 1/10 of our frontline caregivers.
Bruyère operates multiple locations across the capital, specializing in aging, rehab, and care for those with complex medical needs. Coming up on CTV News at 5, an unavoidable reality if you drive. Gas prices continue to surge. We'll take a closer look with Christy Cameron. And our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio with our first check on the forecast, Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Very spring-like temperatures today, where right now conditions really sitting in those double-digit temperatures, about 15 here in Ottawa, 16 in Brockville and Cornwall, and really throughout much of eastern Ontario, we're seeing lots of sunshine. This is going to continue these clear conditions into this evening. We're going to start to see clouds roll through overnight. 5 degrees is our anticipated temperatures for the overnight, but it's going to start to cool down because tomorrow we're only getting to a daytime high of 6 degrees. A chance of showers for Tuesday evening is on the way, and it has prompted an ice storm watch that we are paying closely attention to by the time Wednesday rolls around. So things will change very quickly, and we will see an end to these spring-like conditions very soon. We'll have these details for you and much more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. The Ottawa 67s have clinched a spot in the OHL playoffs. Tickets for the first 2 games of round 1 are now on sale. They'll both be played at home at TD Place Arena. Game 1 is Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. Game 2 is Sunday, March 29th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Their first round opponent has yet to be determined. Head over to the 67's website for tickets. A live check on traffic right now. The 417 westbound is slow from Parkdale to Woodruff. Eastbound slow around the split. 174 eastbound if you're headed out to Orleans. Moderate traffic volume at this time from the split to Blair. You're watching CTV News at 5. Welcome back to CTV News at 5. As the war in Iran continues to escalate, there are mounting concerns the fallout will mean gas prices soaring even higher and lingering here in the capital. The price of gas has jumped by nearly 20 cents a liter in the last 2 weeks alone. Today's radio question of the day is asking, how are high gas prices affecting you?
Certainly possible that if the war winds down very quickly, we could get this oil supply back on. Things could go back to the way they were, at least in the oil markets anyway. But there's also the possibility that this conflict could drag on for weeks or even months. And the longer that it goes on, the higher that price is going to stay. And that's unfortunately going to impact Canadian families, just like families all over the world.
Christy Cameron is here with more. And Christy, I got to tell you, driving around the capital today, sticker shock to see it well above $1.50.
Absolutely. And of course, when we're talking about high gas prices, anybody who is a commuter who lives further outside of Ottawa, or if you live rurally, you're going to feel that immediately. You also think about people that have to drive for work. Like if you're somebody who delivers or you drive a courier service, if you're a farmer, service technicians, if you work in those industries, the daily cost of working goes up right away. I had a listener today, Steve in Spencerville, who called in and he said he commutes 5 days a week to Ottawa. So imagine if this is a sustained thing, he's going to be paying through the nose.
Yeah, definitely. My goodness. And you know, we just heard from the U.S. president essentially suggesting that it's complete or nearly complete. The market's already reacting to that. However, we are also hearing from economists and political analysts who say, well, they don't think it's going to be done anytime soon when it comes to the Iran conflict.
Yeah, and I think right now to be a Canadian, especially a lower or modest income Canadian, is to be very price sensitive, meaning that unless you're better off, you cannot absorb sticker shock or big price hikes. It doesn't really matter what it is. I mean, you think about the cost of a mortgage or the cost of paying rent right now, then the cost of food. Gasoline is right up there, Steph. And so if all of these things cumulatively are costing more and we're in an affordability crisis, which we are, people just cannot stomach an increase, even if it is, you know, a couple weeks, couple days. They feel it right away.
Yeah. Thank you, Christy. Not to mention the trickle-down effect, as we know. Inflation, it's all going to be downloaded to customers. Thank you. You can join the conversation and leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. Now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, remember this 90s throwback? Well, the band behind the song taking to stage at a popular Capital Regional Festival this summer. Here's what else you need to know. The Ottawa Valley Farm Show is on this week from March 10th to 12th at the EY Centre. It is the longest running agricultural trade show in the province. Head over to their website to plan your visit. We'll be right back. Coming up later tonight on CTV after the news, E-Talk starts at 7, The Big Bang Theory at 7:30, St. Dennis Medical at 8, The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins at 8:30, Tracker at 9, and The Rookie at 10. Significant and potentially critical freezing rain is expected in Ottawa and the Outaouais region this week. With more on this, let's bring in CTV's Jackie Perez. And Jackie, you're live in studio tonight, but my goodness, I've been getting so many text messages saying what a gorgeous day today is. So we got to embrace that first, right?
Yes, these spring-like conditions, very short-lived, though. I know we wanted this to last and say, hey, spring is finally here, but temperatures as well as the conditions are going to take quite a turn by the time we get to the middle of the week. Environment Canada says a significant weather system will bring the prolonged period of freezing rain that could bring outages and travel disruptions in Eastern Ontario and and the Outaouais and Laurentian regions of Quebec. But first, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Again, double-digit temperatures, a little bit windy too, about 15 degrees. The sun still out and about, looking along Kaweki Point, a beautiful view and beautiful spot to catch the sunset. But again, the spring-like weather will be short-lived. Taking a closer look now at the next 24 hours, really overnight 7 degrees, and by the noon hour we are going to be about 7 degrees. We're only getting to a daytime high of about 8-9 degrees, and it's going to be very cloudy for most of our Tuesday. In the evening, we are likely going to see the chance of showers potentially moving through, and this is going to pick up by the time we get to Wednesday. More on that in just a bit. But first, for our friends in the Seaway, 1 degree, clear skies overnight. Tomorrow, a daytime high of 9 degrees. And as we look towards the valleys, again, overcast for most of our Tuesday, but the risk of freezing drizzle will start occurring in the early evening of tomorrow. Daytime high is 2 degrees. And here's the ice storm that we are tracking. It's starting to pick up in the States. You see a little bit of that snow moving over the northern part of the Great Lakes, but by Toronto, there is heavy rainfall, and then freezing rain for most of our Wednesday will carry on towards Wednesday evening and into potentially Thursday as well. It has prompted a watches and warnings, a freezing rain warning for parts of Quebec, for here in Ottawa, special weather statement. So 10 to 20 millimeters of ice buildup, and this is in effect from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So we are keeping a very close eye on this, and you can see that today was the warmest day of the week. 6 degrees will be the daytime high for Tuesday, 1 degree for Wednesday, and by Friday we could see the return of some snowfall here in eastern Ontario.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
So again, Stefan, a little short-lived, and again, we are paying attention to this freezing rain that is moving through eastern Ontario starting as early as Tuesday night into Wednesday. We'll have a closer look at these details and what could mean for eastern Ontario later on in the 6 o'clock show.
All right, Jackie, after that forecast, definitely going to seize the day today. Thank you. Here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on CTV News Ottawa.ca. If you go to our homepage currently, our digital team just posted this article a little over an hour ago. It says residents with My Service Ottawa accounts will be notified about possible plumbing leaks. And if you truly get a water bill and know that the plumbing leak can increase it by hundreds of dollars, well worth signing up for My Service Ottawa to get those notifications, to get the problems fixed before it costs you.
Back to John for overtime. Won't go. And the
Coming up for us here on CTV News at 5, coming home as national champs, celebrating the Carleton Ravens men's basketball team. More details shortly. If you need gas before prices rise again, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the McEwen Station on Dunrobin Road in Canada. Regular gas there today listed for 147.6 cents a litre. Here's another live check on traffic right now. Parkdale moving quite well in both directions. Things start to slow down around Churchill as you head westbound towards Woodruff. Eastbound at Woodruff flowing nicely, but there are quite a few cars on the roads. You're watching CTV News at 5.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. A beautiful 15 degrees is the temperature currently. And time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock. Drivers dealing with price shock at the pump.
If I drive a wheelchair-accessible vehicle, and these vehicles normally are gas cars because of the conversion. So, you know, the price is unbearable these days.
Gas prices up significantly this week with more hikes potentially on the way, but the price of oil up and then way back down this afternoon. What does it all mean and how will it affect you?
So there are times where there are too many people on the train and you have to wait for the next one, or as you can tell, like the train is cut in half, so we do have to wait, or it's too crowded to even get in.
We're on the LRT Line 1 tonight for our Ottawa's Worst Commute series, taking a look at how mechanical issues are having a continued ripple effect on commuters. And we speak to speed skating sensation Yvonne Blondin as she returns to her hometown after winning 2 Olympic medals in Milan. We go back to where it all began. All of that and more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following. More live music to look forward to this summer. The Gatineau Hot Air Balloon Festival has announced an all-star performer.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star.
The California-based rock band Smash Mouth will take the stage at the popular summer festival on September 3rd. The band rose to fame in the 90s with hits like All Star and their remake of I'm a Believer. The festival will announce more of its lineup later this month.
Back to John for overtime. Won't go. And the dominance continues for the Carleton Ravens.
There they go again. The Carleton Ravens are celebrating after winning the U Sports Men's Basketball Championship yesterday. The Ravens edged past the Bishop's Gators with a 78-75 win. A big part of that victory, 35 points from tournament MVP Aubrey Dory Havens. Congrats to the entire team. A new report finds that Canada's average rent has fallen to a 33-month low. The national rent report from rentals.ca and Urban Nation says the average asking rent declined for the 17th straight month in February. It dropped to just over $2,000. Rents also continued to fall in large markets with notable year-over-year declines in Ottawa, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, and Toronto.
Speed and playmaking ability. Greco one-timing the loose puck, side of the net, score!
The Ottawa Charge were on the road in New York last night. Early in the third, Gabby Hughes scored her 3rd goal of the season and made this one close for a bit, but that wouldn't last long. New York would go on to score 3 unanswered goals, including an empty netter en route to a 6-2 victory. The Charge play next on Wednesday when they host the Montreal Victoire.
To handle it, 2-on-1 for Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk shoots and scores.
And the Ottawa Senators are back on the ice tonight after Saturday's 7-4 win against the Seattle Kraken. The Sens have now won 3 of their last 4, and it's another late game tonight as their Western road trip continues. Puck drop is 9 p.m. our time. They'll return to the Canadian Tire Centre on Wednesday. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of CTV National starts now.